am back. It's been a while since my last video. Wasn't planning on being this long, but when you have a 3-month-old, sometimes these things happen. Everybody's fine, nothing serious, just usual baby drama, and it takes its toll. Things like making YouTube videos, obviously you're going to take a backseat to that, but I am back, and I did remember the last time I made one of these, I promised I'd be talking about used gaming, and I am going to talk about that. One thing that prompted me to discuss it is I picked up this little gem right here, which is the Atari Anniversary Collection for the Sega Dreamcast, which does in fact make this the gaming version of, chocolate and peanut butter, two great tastes that taste great together, Atari and Dreamcast. It is the Reese's Cup of gaming. You can't beat it. Two of the greatest things ever made combined into one. And obviously, since I just picked this up recently, I bought it as a used game, which Dreamcast hasn't been around for a while. Point being is that there's been a lot of talk in the last few months that the next generation of game consoles would be digital only. They would not allow used games to be purchased. Basically, that talk coming from the belief that the gaming companies' belief that used games are hurting. Besides the fact that places like GameStop generate billions of dollars in revenue, the publishers basically want another bite of the apple. I mean, when you stop and think about it, something like the recording industry, which is not known as the most honest, shall we say, business, they've done some pretty despicable things in the name of basically getting more profit. Even they have never gone to the point of saying that secondhand record or CD shops cost them money. Because for one, it's silly. Everybody knows they make billions of dollars, no matter how much piracy or whatever they claim is affecting their business. And not to eliminate that or downgrade it, it is actually a problem. There are people who should be paying for stuff that aren't, and have the means to that aren't, and just won't for whatever reason, sticking to the man or whatever. But let's not pretend that either gaming or music is on the edge of poverty or shutting down completely because of it. It's just not going to happen. But as far as gaming goes, is buying your used games from your favorite game store or even GameStop hurting the business? I would say no, because I know personally, my experience, a lot of people I know experience, they've bought games used they never would have paid the new price for because they didn't know anything about it, took a chance on it in the bargain bin for a couple bucks, loved it, ended up buying, following games in the series at full price because they bought that first one used, got a taste of it. I mean, the bottom line is, new games now cost anywhere from $30 to $50, $60 more if you get special editions. There are times of the year where several new games come out at the same time. People aren't going to have the disposable income to buy everything brand new, especially if it's something that's maybe not their cup of tea or something we normally buy. They're not going to take the risk of spending $50 on something and have it be something they don't like or a bad game, just not their style, not what they thought it was going to be. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's like not quite selfish, but it's like presumptuous for gaming companies to expect that people are just going to pay full price for every game that comes down the pike no matter what. There also seems to be a belief that gamers have endless disposable income. I forget which one it was, but one of the important game CEO of a game company or developer or something, when asked about it, it basically just said that people will find ways to find the money to buy the games they want, which to an extent is true. If there's a game that somebody really wants, they'll save up for it, but for the most part, people are just going to buy it in a few months when the price drops, because everybody who's been around gaming for more than 10 minutes knows that 99% of new games drop in price 6 months, if not sooner, after they come out. It's kind of like buying a game on day one, unless it's something, a series that you're a really big fan of, or, a game that you really have to have. It's like buying a new car. Once you buy that, take that new game home and unwrap it, it loses half the value right there, And if you buy a game for $60, play it for 5 minutes and take it back to GameStop, you're lucky if they give you $25 for trade-in. And that's on a good day. But same token, I get where they're coming from in the sense that, they're a business. They want to make money. They want to explore ways to make money. I don't blame them for thinking of ways to basically force people to pay full price. But I don't think it's ever going to be to a point where you can't play used games on a system. Or it'll be completely digital. I mean, it'll always be an option. I mean, it is convenient to have digital downloads. But it's just not something I don't see ever going away. I mean, Nintendo's already saying that the Wii U is not going to keep used games from being played, and I didn't expect Nintendo to, because they've never been about that. I mean, you've always been able to play used games on any system, sometimes to their detriment, because if you look in Japan with the vast pirating of the DS, they never really cracked down on it, and they really only did it when their publishers, developers started kind of making a fuss. That, I mean, you can go in Japan and it's the flashcards for the DS. I mean, they're just sold out in the open in most stores. Very little fear of any reprisal, because Nintendo's just really never had that much of a concern about it, because they know. I mean, it was the DS is a license to print money. When something's popular, there's going to be people who want to pirate it, and I guess they kind of factored in as the cost of doing business, right or wrong. It just seems to be the tack that they chose to go. But people seem to think that neither Sony or Microsoft are going to try to make an attempt to have their next generation systems not play used games. And part of that's coming from the reputations of Sony and Microsoft. They're not always been customer friendly. They've been a little brazen about how their decisions are business first, consumer second. Sony with the whole rootkit fiasco and various other things that haven't always been what people actually wanted, but the best for business. But I think that any system that comes out that doesn't support used games or has some kind of method to keep used games from being played, right there, all it takes is one system in a generation to not support that, and that system's going to win that generation's wars. And if there ever was a time where all the major players in the market all decided their next generation systems would not support these games, that would be too easy of a lawsuit attempt for collusion, because for all three companies to decide that at the same time, especially depending on what means they would go about to implement it, that would just be asking for a legal tussle. I don't think any of them really want to go down, unless it gets to a point where one company gets so far ahead of the other two that they can pretty much do whatever they want without any fear of losing market share. Because the way things are, even though Nintendo and the Wii had a pretty good run for a long time, I don't think any of the big three of Nintendo and Microsoft or Sony are really in a position where they can just say, screw you, we're going to do what we want to do whether you like it or not. Because the first one that makes that announcement, they're just going to lose so much support from whatever fan base they have. I mean, not all of them, but a significant group of gamers. I mean, they're not all just, teenagers playing, casual games. They're not all college bros playing Call of Duty or Madden. I mean, there's a wide range of ages and backgrounds for gaming, and something like, we're going to basically decide you're going to pay full price for all your games. We'll find out exactly just how big of their market base actually has unlimited disposable income. So to all the folks who are in fear of that or afraid of that happening one day, you can never say never. Anything can happen. But I wouldn't lose too much sleep about it. And even if something did ever happen that the current gen system didn't support used games, that doesn't mean that the system that currently exists would suddenly stop functioning. You always have 8-bit systems, you have 16-bit systems, and you have your Saturn, you have the Dreamcast, you have the original Xbox. You got tons of systems that have tons of used games, thousands, maybe even tens of thousands if you add them all up. So there's never going to be a time where you're not going to have the option of playing some games. It would be sad if it was decided that you can never go back and relive some of the things you grew up with. Which is another reason why I don't think that would ever happen, because if you tell somebody they can't play used games, then you're basically locking out the ability to go back and enjoy those games from the past, and that's not ever what gaming's ever been about. So hopefully that's not something that ever gets lost or forgotten, because that's why a lot of us now that started playing games when we were younger still play games today, because it's something we enjoyed as kids, we can go back to and still enjoy at the same level. And I would hope that a lot of people in charge of the gaming companies today were those same type of kids that enjoyed playing games and wouldn't mind going back and reliving that. So here's hoping that the folks running the ship don't ever forget where they started from. So on that note, I'm going to wrap this video up for now, and hopefully my next time speaking to y'all won't be so far in between. So thanks for watching. The few of you that do, I do support, do enjoy your support. Thanks for taking some time out to watch my blather. So promise I won't make you wait so much next time. See you around.